Hello, everybody. I want to talk to you guys about Creature Commandos. The show, whose final episode just aired last night, and I had a great time with it. So, I want to talk to you guys about my thoughts. This is unfortunately, for me, spoiler free. So, you guys can just watch this video and hop right into the show. It's a very fun time. I know I wouldn't want it spoiled, so let's get started. So, Creature Commandos is officially the first DCU project, and many people are mixed on that. I see it as it's the prologue to the DCU. One of the best things this show has is its world building. It feels like an already existing universe, and there is a lot of cameos that I did not expect with this show, and it left me really hyped and amped for more of the DCU. If you guys are a follower of me, I'm sure I've talked about my excitement in the DCU in the past. I am super excited, and I'll probably be doing more videos talking about the DCU and what I want for it because it's so inspiring and motivating to see a new cinematic universe come to life. So I'm really excited, and seeing a project like this with great storytelling, great characters, it leaves me wanting more. And Creature Commandos did get greenlit for a season 2, which is exciting. I'm super hyped for that. Anyway, let's talk more about the season 1, though. The characters, I love almost all the characters. All the commandos, I love to death. I'm battling between Dr. Phosphorus, the skeleton guy, and GI Robot. Those guys are my favorite. They're really neck and neck. I don't know which one's my favorite, but they are absolutely great. Each episode ties into each of the commandos, talking about their backstory and incorporating it into the present day story on how this affects them and their growth throughout their time as monsters, and just how they managed to get to this scenario. Seeing the way they did that was super cool. I'm not usually one for just constant backstory. But one of the things James Gunn is really known for is taking really low tier superheroes and giving us a huge emotional connection to them. Weasel in episode 4 it made me cry. I will admit that. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to talk about it, but I cried. Like, full on. I was. And I know little to nothing about Weasel aside from like what he had in the DCEU, and I cried. A character like Weasel made me cry. So take that with what you will. There are quite a bit of it. There's a lot of great moments in this story. Characters, story, world building. Those were the best parts of Creature Commandos. And if you are a DC fan or heck a superhero fan or a fan of comic book story animation, watch Creature Commandos. You will not regret it. Here's the thumbnail. Okay. It's really fun. Don't let your kids watch it. It is TVMA. It's TVMA. It's really fun. All right. So I want to talk a bit about my negatives. I have some, and then like listening to what other people would say about it, I was like, okay, I see where they're coming from, so I'm kind of in the same boat, but my thing is, I already glorified it for being a positive in this, but there is a lot of backstory, and people will say it's inconsistent. I think it was incorporated fine, but that could just be me with rose-colored glasses on because I've been super excited with the DCU. So hearing people say that the backstories are inconsistent or there wasn't really much of a story because a lot of backstories involved, which is true. One of the big things this show does is world build, and it does a great job at it. And some people may say that's like that they're just putting world building over the story, because the story, like the Commando's adventure, is it's a pretty straightforward story with some twists and turns, I will say. But overall, the entire present day that they go through is pretty straightforward. They have to stop a villain, and then twists happen. Then this needs to happen. I think it was handled pretty well. It led to some great action and great storytelling, and James Gunn really cooked with these characters. Like Rick Flag Sr., he incorporated well into the story in the second half of the show, and I personally enjoyed like everything with it. Like it brought in some very interesting things into the story, and it was fun. I had a good time with it, but I can see why people would not really say why people would point that as a negative. Man, I cannot talk today. One of my complaints personally is the show is kind of short, and the season finale does leave with some questions that I hope season 2 will come to answer to. But I think if they had like an episode or so, one or two more episodes, that doesn't necessarily need to focus on a Creature Commandos backstory and focus more on the main story, I think it could have driven it so much more. I already think it's a really great show. I had a great time with it. It's definitely a good start to the DCU. And then when you talk about Superman, I'm waiting. I'm not trying to rush time. I can't rush time, but I'm excited for Superman. So let's wrap this up. Creature Commandos, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. If you're a DC fan or a superhero fan or a James Gunn fan, like if you like Guardians of the Galaxy or the Suicide Squad, this show is for you. It's animated, so it's very visually appealing. The animation's beautiful. Where I would place it in terms of like James Gunn's DCU projects between what's been out, like Peacemaker Season 1, The Suicide Squad, and Creature Commandos, I would say this is pretty neck and neck with The Suicide Squad, and it beats Peacemaker. I think it's a really, really well done show. And I'm super excited for Season 2. Trust me, I'm a DC fan. The future of the Creature Commandos in the DCU is very, very bright. That's all I have to say about this amazing show. Go check it out. You're going to have a good time with it. I promise you, you will. It has a lot of rewatchability as well. So I might go back and watch it again. Who knows? But right now, 8.5 out of 10. Very fun time. You will not regret it. It's not a waste of your time at all. It's fun. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy your weekend. See you guys in the next video.